question today that will change your music forever for the better. Hey guys, I'm Mark Black. This is my channel, Mark Teaches Music, and this is our weekly Q&A to play and sing. And this is number 77. And so if you've seen this before, if you haven't, this is all about learning to play and sing better, techniques and skill and personality issues and reading music and music theory and how to improvise and performing issues and defeating stage fright and working in groups and ensembles, rock bands, jazz bands, worship bands, country bands, orchestras, no kidding, quintets, concert bands, choirs, leading them or being in them. And we're talking about any style for any level, that, voice, guitar, bass, fretted instruments, keys, piano, bass, bass twice, super bass, woodwinds, brass strings, music theory, songwriting, arranging, praise and worship, composition, orchestration, rock, blues, jazz, R&B, country, Latin, classical, pop, zydeco, Mongolian, throat singing, issues with solo performance, with how to practice, with how to improvise, developing your ear, and why. So I want to help you fix the things that are holding you back and bring all your questions, and we'll learn amazing things here today. So, and then just if you watching this after the Q&A, the actual thing, either drop your questions in the comments or send me an email at mark@DallasMusicLessons, and I'll try to get those in the next week. So anyway, so last week, which was number 76, we talked about how personality dramatically affects your music success, about juggling different music directions, about how to structure your practice time, whoever you are, whatever you're practicing. We talked about, we talked about workaround or a synopsis. There's two basic people. Every musical issue that I answer is actually can only apply to like, a third to a half to as many as 75%. And some of them, of course, are everybody, but people are different and they learn differently. So anyway, a lot of people learn and are thinking and doing things, their musical things with their brain, their mighty brain, which is of course excellent. And there's nothing remotely negative or not awesome about that. But a lot of people are doing things with their heart or their emotions and this kind of thing. And so I was telling a student, we're talking about, a shortcut to all the details of volume and crescendoing and articulations and everything is to mimic the person that like assimilate the song. I am being Paul Desmond. I am being I'm being Teddy Swims. I'm everything that they're doing, I'm trying to do. And the point, that doesn't make you into a slave, that doesn't make you into a clone, that makes you, because unless you only listen to one person and do the one person's thing. But if you're doing what a normal person would do, you listen to this guy and this guy and this girl and all these groups and stuff like that. It's like you are becoming an amalgam, a combination of those, and that combination of what you emphasize and leave out and that kind of stuff is you as the musician, you as the artist, so it's, there's no danger there of you becoming a clone, because unless you only listen to one person and focus on them, but rather you listen to many people. And so when you're doing that, the aggression, the power, the brokenness, all these things, the way they move their body, the way they move their hands, when they get loud, when they get soft, and it's not necessarily about vocalist at all. I was naming Marcel Tebluteau. you know, or Moise or whoever, flautist. So in your concept of the song, you're thinking all songs, including things you haven't played and sung yet. You are assimilating, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something, completely absorbing the pitch and the volume. And if it's a vocalist, is that head voice, is it chest voice, how you breathe, when you breathe, your gestures, your mood. All these things are available to you to assimilate and to pull in and to have in you. And that should be your concept, not formally did I, not just formally did I play that rhythm exactly correct. Can I read that right? Now, of course, if you're doing strictly classical, that sort of assimilation is a little less. It's just slightly less because many times you're just presented with this almost a puzzle, a conundrum. Read this properly, do this properly. But become that singer, become that trumpeter, become Arturo Sandoval. Become. What they do that. That's a great starting place. You don't have to stop there, but that's a great starting place. And then another student with my students, particularly vocal students, is really the same thing. It's just that instrumentalists tend to have more details presented to them on the paper, or they'll listen to this person. But the idea is, it's my word as far as I know. Certainly what I'm using is, as far as I know, completely me, which is the idea of active listening. And active listening is what I want students to do, and I'm telling them to do active listening, is I want them to be to listen to the song. And this is, again, vocal. It doesn't matter what you are, a vocalist or instrumentalist, but the idea is that you're listening to a song, and again, any kind of song, any type song. And what you're doing is you are listening to that. If you're a vocalist, you do not sing, but you're actively singing in your head. If you're an instrumentalist, I have a brown place on my nose. I think it's the light. Oh well. Anyway, so the point is, you're actively listening to that solo. You're listening to Jean-Pierre Rampal. And exactly, all this is a good idea. You're listening to it, but you're not playing a note. This is a thing to do, and so you're listening and you're imagining every single thing you're playing, but you're not playing. So you're actively involved, putting it in your head out what you're doing, but then you are not making a sound, because then you can observe what's going on. So what you're trying to do when you do that, I want to recommend that to everybody. So when you're trying to do that, when you're doing that, what you're doing is you're trying to absorb every nuance, the licks, the mood. You're trying to absorb all the things that are there being presented by that musician, vocalist or instrumentalist. And again, now listen, there is no dichotomy. There's not brain music and emotional music. There's music that, with different levels of what is the most important, or what we're getting out of this music more or less. But all music, as I've said many times, all music involves emotions and power and grandeur, and has intellectual components, or does not. If it doesn't have intellectual component, then it's about not having an intellectual component, So it's not like, somebody went, oh my gosh, there's no, I am now brain dead, and so I'm going to play country music, or now I'm going to be a robot and I'm going to do classical music. That is not an option for anybody. I mean, I don't mean it's like not an option for me. I'm saying that is not possible to take that approach. So, you can pretend you're taking that approach about just being an automaton, in your music, or a complete, gigantic heart, but you can't do that, because it's undoable. Because if you sing a note, something is controlling that. That's your brain, and if you are getting any kind of reaction in yourself or in the audience, then that's involving your emotions. So all of the music involves all of those things. So anyway, when we're having this discussion about saying absorbing what the guy's doing, and then I'm talking about now a specific thing you can do to absorb the nuances and the subtleties and the licks and the mood and the attitude of a great performer or singer, performer and singer. It's like, what I'm saying by that is that's for everybody, and you need to do that and make yourself do that. So just by the way, I'm a little discombobulated here because of my explosion with the thing just cutting off. My computer died. It hasn't happened ever. So anyway, so let me. I'm trying to get my picture here to be a little safer from being ugly. Trying to ugly proof it. And so anyway, third student, and talking about them not about the in what to start with in terms of chords, and this is the instrumental musician we're talking about. Not them. I'm just saying that's what this would apply to. And now this is a gross generalization. You don't have to, you don't have, you can got to follow me with what I'm saying here, and that is you can take all the music. I have several books that are taking in. I'm using classical as an example, just of you would think, oh, this is not true, but it's got basically all the classical, several hundred classical pieces. Analyzed, or not analyzed, presented as a chord, not a chord melody solo, but basically a lead sheet. Here's the melody, for Mendelssohn's Second Symphony, and it's just got chords in the melody, and that's it. And that is what the ear hears, and my point in mentioning that, not about I'm saying all music can be turned into chords and melody, unless we go back into Renaissance and medieval music, and then they didn't quite have that same idea. But anyway, so the point there is, and so what I wanted to get at is that you can, as you're learning, you're trying to get better, you can basically learn 2 chord types, and morph those 2 chord types into maybe 4 chord types, and those 4 chord types would cover, or at least the families, the blocks that they represent, will cover almost all your music. So that means if you're an instrumentalist, you can learn to play those chords, or you can, if you're trying to songwrite, you can say, well, I have this, I want this to be dark. What are my dark chords? I want this to be gentle. What are my gentle chord options? I want this to be whole and happy. I want this to be aggressive, or I want it to be movement or tension. What are my options? So anyway, I'm going to grab this guitar because it's a whole lot easier to grab than a piano. And my studio is completely destroyed. I think it'll be well by next week. But anyway, so there's normally another piano, another keyboard right there. But you can't see him because he's not there right now. So anyway, so the first, I have a classical degree, right? So the 4 chord types are major, minor, diminished, and augmented. But that is really not, if you're going to stay strictly classical, now, ignore this guitar, because I don't even care I don't care if you can tell what my sounds are, or what chords I'm playing. I just want to say, but we would look at, I would say to begin with, we could have major chords, which I would describe as whole or comfortable or normal, any words you want to say. Minor chords, and and many permutations of that, you know. Physically, it doesn't matter. And inversions and stuff like that. And then, so that would be, I would say sad, or some people would say dark. Well, why is that? Okay, so anyway, and then we can add, we need chords that have tension. Okay, so that would be our 7 chord. So let's make this a 7. Now that chord, a 7 chord, a dominant 7 chord, basically you say it feels like tension, it wants to go someplace, and then it really wants to go to, so, you know, please go to this sound, or this sound. Okay, so anyway, major, minor, and dominant 7 would cover happy sounds, whole sounds, dark sounds, sad sounds, and then sounds that want to move someplace. Now, just to mention, and then we could leverage that from there. We could go to major, so we could have 2 chords, and or 6 chords, which I would say are pretty, without a little prettier than just a regular. Forget how this is. Forget this instrument. This instrument doesn't matter. This could be on a mandolin. This could be on the bass. This could be on a ukulele, on the Chapman stick. You know, and it can be on the guitar. So it's not what I'm playing or how I'm playing. It's just the sound. So here's this, you know, full sound. Sorry, I got up to minors. So here's this. We added 2. We add it up here. You know, and that's a little prettier. And then we could say, okay, what about majors, and make them major 7s, a major 7 chord. Now that sounds gentle. Is that a normal sound in a blues? No, sir, it is not. Is that so all chords are moods, and the idea too, another idea I've said and people have said is that look at it's a spice, you know. So does this fit in every does that fit in every kind of sound? No, but it fits in a lot of them. So anyway, so from major we could have major 7s, which is a gentle sound, I would say. And then we could have 2s and 6s and 9/6s. You know, that's a nice sound, happier sound, or prettier sound than just the majors. And then from the minors, we just have the minor. And we could have minors, minor 7s. Just the moods, all we're talking about. And we could have minor 9s. Actually, that's a minor 2, because I didn't have a 7. Now it's a minor 9. Now it's a minor 11. All going back to just a minor 7. So minors, minor 2s. So dark sounds, sadder sounds, and then the 7 chords. I'm not changing anything. I'm just saying majors, minors, and 7s, and then I'm saying, okay, let's say majors, major 2s, 6s, and 9/6s, and major 7s, major 9s, major 11s, you know, and then we have minors and minor 7s, minor 2s, but it's minors and minor 7s, and then on the 7 chords, we could. I'm just saying this is our tension chords. So. Just a D7. Now we add the 9. Now it's a 9. Now it's a sharp 9. Well, sharp 5. Now it's a 9. Sharp 9. Pick up the pieces. But so sharp 9. flat 9, flat 5. And so that would be our chord tension. So all I'm saying, we have sad sounds in the major family. I'm sorry, sad sounds in the minor family, happy sounds in the major family, and then move someplace. And that would cover our diminished chords, augmented chords, and 7 chords. And you can reduce music to that. Are you going to be missing things? Of course you're going to be missing things. But the point here is that, me saying that, is that in your learning both to play and to hear chords, you would like to have boxes you can drop these in. You learn a new chord. This is a sadder sound, even sadder. This is just like a half diminished 7. Here's the minor 7, minor 9, minor 11. Sorry. Here's the half diminished 7, or minor 7 with a flat 5. What is that chord? Same thing for the minor 6. So you hear a chord and you're like, where could I drop this? How am I going to remember this? I'm not talking about physically right now, I'm talking about orally. So, and then that goes for you to write, that goes for you to understand. And then, like I said, the 7s would be the chords that have motion and move someplace and go someplace. And you're just looking for boxes, ways to organize things in your head. So this would be a good time to say, hey, you should take online and in-studio lessons with me. And that would be great. And you should do that. I should do that. We should do that together. There's that. So the second thing, or the fourth thing, is that I think probably what I need to do is just say that, add the last thing today, just because of the attack on the live stream with the computer dying for some crazy reason. And that is high notes and fast notes are a bully. And this is, from me talking to a student and talking to this about them. They're a bully, and they try to intimidate you. And you will try, and you have to defeat them, and you can't let them bully you. A hard passage, a hard song, a hard concert, you cannot let it bully you. And there's several reasons to say that. One is that you won't be able to do it well. But another thing is if I hit a high note and I go, da, 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 and I sing it like, oh my gosh, this is so high and so hard, and so a fast passage, and I'm playing it like it's really hard and really, I can barely do it. What doesn't matter if I can or can I do it. It's how am I acting? What am I presenting? So everybody, nobody has, listening to me on their playlist on their phone has a songs where you're afraid that guy's going to miss it. He's just, gosh, it's so tentative and so cautious and so careful. Nobody has a song like that on their playlist. Nobody listening to me has that. You've all got songs. Again, there'll be fragile songs and powerful songs and pompous songs and pretentious songs and earnest songs and flashy songs. But they're all people doing their songs like, this is what I meant to do. That's what I want to do. That's why you have them. You don't have any songs where, the band kind of falls apart, or you wonder if they will. And that kind of stuff. And what I'm saying right now is not about perfection. I'm talking about when these difficulties present themselves to you, and this is hard to do. This is hard to do. This is hard to do. This is fast. This is high. First off, you got to look at it like you've been challenged by the neighborhood bully, and if you don't confront that, it will master you, just like that bully. You'll be going out the backside of the building at where you live for the rest of your life because you won't confront that bully. And if you don't confront those high notes with your voice or on your instrument, like you never go up above D, and you know who I'm talking to here, You won't play that fast passage. You're looking for ways to make it easy. I'm not talking about perfection here. I'm talking about you can't. First off, you can't let that determine how you're going to play and sing the rest of your life. And number two, if you let it intimidate you, you will play it as if it is high, as if it is hard, as if it is just barely, really not in your abilities, and you don't want to do that. And so you can fake it, and I'm being serious. This is what you should. You fake it, you just like, yeah, whether you feel it or not. I do not feel it right now because my computer died in the middle of my live stream, so I'm quite shook by it. But anyway, so you got to do it and sing and play like it is amazing. And again, don't think about the kind of music, and maybe the better word is it's convincing. I can do this. I'm not talking about that thing in Saturday Night Live 25 years ago with the guy going, "Today is a great day." I'm saying that we talked about earlier tonight, saying, hey, go ahead and imitate that famous person that you love, that famous musician. That will synopsize a dozen or 24 things that you want to do in your music. And in that same way of grabbing from those great people, don't let those high notes, those hard things, those fast passages, those aggressive songs, don't let them bully you. Go ahead and go for it. And imitate that guy that you love and you think is great. And the music that you make needs to sound convincing. This is positive. You are happy about that. It's not some sort of you're happy that you get to present your music like that. Now, I'm so hoping that I can find my little thing here, because again, I've had to reopen everything I ever owned, and it doesn't look like it's going to work. But that's okay. So let's see. So I'm Mark Black. This is Mark Teaches Music, and this is To Play and Sing, and this is episode 7 billion. No, this is episode 77. And so, like I've just said 700 times, you should take online lessons with me. And let's see. And so, absolutely, email me at Mark Teaches. No, email me at Mark at Dallas Music Lessons, or just go to www.dallasmusiclessons and you can get more information there. So remember to drop your comments in your questions or comments. In the comments, you can send me an email, and also, and if there's a question and you see this later, do that, and I'll get those in there. And then lastly, I want you to have a great week, and I want you to remember to have fun and be awesome.